Alright, so we're about to throw some Silvers Neomax Coilovers on this car here. Get rid of the stock suspension and getting it looking a little more like this. Silvers Neomax with a nice Tom's brace. Set this car off nice. This is a non-turbo car, so it's going to be conservative. Nice conservative drop. Nothing crazy like this. So let's get to it. Alright, start getting into it. Let's check out the suspension from Silvers Neomax. Equipped with Swift springs. So a little upgrade you can purchase when you purchase the coilovers for a more comfortable ride. So make sure we got all the hardware. Make sure nothing is missing. Then we can take everything out and get started. Alright, so everything's out of the box. Fresh set of Silvers Neomax coilovers with Swift springs. I want you to note that these are not set from the factory. As you can see, there's a difference here. There's like a small difference there. So never just throw them in. Always make sure you set them evenly. And then I'll also show you how to set the preload on the springs. All of these springs already have preload on it. They recommend at least 5 millimeters of preload, which is just about the size of this key. So I'll show you how to do all that in a minute. See what you get inside here. Owner service information, you know, authenticity paper or whatever. You get 2 keys, 2 vinyl stickers, and an Allen key. Alright, so as we take a look at the construction of the coilover, very nice, feels like an aluminum body. As you can see, it has 2 perches. This perch controls the height. You turn that controls the height. This perch controls the amount of preload on the spring. So let me show you how to adjust the preload while we have it out. Alright. Alright, let's loosen the preload low perch. Start moving this one down. We want to move it down until we feel there's no load on the spring here. Alright, here we go. There's no load on it. Once you feel that it can't move, right now you're at 0. This is 0. Can't move. So we're gonna put 5 millimeters of preload on this. So the way we do that, we take this lower perch and just snug it up to the top perch. And then we're gonna keep this bottom perch right where it is, and we're gonna increase the height. It's gonna start to get hard to turn. So we're gonna increase the height till we get a 5 millimeter gap in between here. And what we're gonna use to test it is this. If this can go, almost like a go, no go gauge. Right now it's a no go. It's not at 5 millimeters yet. I'm gonna go up a little more. Let's go up a little more. Alright. There's a slight drag on it, which means we're at approximately 5 millimeter preload. That's what they recommend to leave it, so we're going to leave it there. The spring is loaded, and then we're going to lock this lower perch. Now you got 5 millimeters of preload. Keep in mind, anytime you increase or lower the height, it's going to affect the preload. So you would have to set it again. Alright, now to set the right height, what we're going to do is count the number of rings on one and match it up with the other side. Not exactly sure how far it's going to drop the car, but we got to put it into C, and then we'll make it even after that. So I counted 14 rings on this side, so I'm going to make sure I count 14 rings on this side. Once you're done, lock this, lock it up with the key, and then you're ready to install. Alright, so let's start by taking off the wheel. Let's see what we got to take off. The ball joint separated from the spindle. We got 2 bolts at the bottom to get, got 3 at the top. Alright, now to get this bolt out here from the bottom of the damper where the damper forks, you're gonna have to move this sway bar bushing bolts out of the way. So you gotta take the sway bar bushing bolts out, and then you get access to take this bolt out of the damper fork here. 17 on one side and 19 on the other side. So let's get started on that. Alright, separate that. Now we got access to this bolt here. Alright, so we got 19 on one end, 17 on the other. Let's get this out. There we go. Now that we got the top mount bolts loose, we get some play here. So we can take the upper control arm ball joint out. So wiggle this out to pull the bolt out. Alright. Oh, by the way, putting this bolt back in, normally I'll just put the bolt back in through this way going forward so that I don't have to unloosen this again, the sway bar again, to take it out. So just a tip there. Alright. Little shake, little wiggle. Alright, so here's the difference in length in the front. Looks like it could be around 3 inches or so. But when it's all said and done, it's not exactly going to be the same. So we tried 21 rings here. We're going to put it in, see the height. If it's good, we'll match this one up and do the other side. So see how it goes. Let's drop the car and see how much we need to adjust. So we went too far. We went way too far. I'm gonna have to bring it back up and adjust it again. Loosen that. Turn the body. Alright, so just kind of put the suspension halfway back together. Alright, so let's drop it now and see how much clearance we got. Alright, so once you're sure everything is good, you're going to start to button up back the suspension, get your upper control on ball joint in. Get the crown nut on there. We'll get the clip in there later. We gotta get this sway bar bushing in, and then we gotta get this main 17-inch bolt back into the damper fork at the bottom. Make sure your three nuts at the top are tight, and then you're pretty much done. Alright, gotta get this bolt threaded through. You kind of jiggle the suspension while you're doing that shit threading. Jiggle while you thread it. Let's scratch it and tighten it up. Nice and tight. 1, 2. This is the last bolt to get in here. Alright, it might get a little bit tricky putting this bolt back in because you're going to have to lift the spindle and it's kind of heavy. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drop the car a little bit, put a jack stand under the spindle so that it'll match. When I come down with the chassis, the spindle will go up. Alright, so we're going to tack the back now. A lot of space back here, there's no air purifier, so should be 1, 2, 3. Once again, I lube everything. Open this shit up. Like no dry action. Lube. So these 3 bolts at the top, and pretty much, so let me go in here with a light. So just 1 bolt down here. This one, the nut on the other side. Just put some penetration oil on them both, because these things been over probably 30 something years since they've been pulled. So make sure you put some penetrating oil. 1 bolt at the bottom, 3 at the top. This spindle is gonna have to be pulled down maybe about 3 inches to clear to get this thing out of here. So I normally use like a long breaker bar or something, pry down the spindle, and it's out. So let's get to it. So these are 19s down here. So you get a 19 wrench, 19 socket on one side. Alright. Now let's get the top 3 bolts. Alright. Let's grab these 3. Just beat it out. There we go. One breaker bar, like so. Use it to pry it down on the spindle, like this. Almost there. There we go. So put it back, that's it. 3 bolts at the top, 1 at the bottom. There's nothing else really in the way at all. So let's measure it up with the coilover and see what height difference we get. Alright, so this is the height difference for the rears. So definitely at least got about maybe close to 4 to 5 inches of height difference. So we're gonna have to bring this down. Maybe about 3 inches. Maybe it's about right here, and then see what we're working with after that. All right, so we dropped it a little bit. It looks like it's about close to a 2-inch difference, but you know the spring rates are different. It's gonna drop different. So let's see how it drops like this, and if it's good, we'll mimic these rings and put it on the next side. All right, now when you're putting this back, it's always nice to have an extra person up there to kind of catch the nuts. Pause. It's always nice to have someone up there that could fasten the fasteners. You know what I'm talking about. But we don't have anybody, so we're gonna have to do it solo. So let's go. Angle it a little bit. Push it through the holes. At this point, if you can, see if you could kind of catch the fork somewhere on the suspension so it stays. That way you could kind of catch 1 or 2 nuts at the top. Pause. Glimpsing all the nuts at the top. Pretty much fastened. Now we got to catch back this fork down here. So now we're gonna have to lift the spindle to get it into place. So again, breaker bar is your friend, or if you're strong as hell, you could possibly lift it to. In this case, I just use a group strut to push it through. Let's see if I can knock it through. And that's it. That's it. We're not going to tighten it up yet. Now we want to see how the wheel sits. So we're not going to tighten up that nut yet. We might need to make a couple of adjustments. So let's see how it goes. Alright, so let's see how low this goes. I'll show you how to make a height adjustment while the assembly is in the car bolted down. So basically what you're going to do is loosen up this lock nut here. It's clockwise to loosen it up. Now the entire assembly can move, but you got to make sure that this is locked properly first. So let's make sure that's locked. Should be locked. You can spin the whole entire assembly. So I just put it up, just lock, perch it down here, maybe just 2 rings. I want to just bring it up a little bit, or sorry, I should say bring it down a little bit. And then I'm going to turn this counterclockwise so the whole assembly could turn down into the cylinder. Like that. That's about it. I'm gonna lock it down. Alright, so now that I made my final adjustment, I'm gonna put that nut back. So now that we made our final adjustments, I'm gonna put the nut back on that bottom bolt. They gave us a brand new nut to use. So we're going to use that. We're going to tighten the nuts at the top, and that'll be it. Repeat on the other side, and you're done. So we'll count the rings, and then we'll set it up the same way on the other side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we got 30 rings in total. Do it on the other side. Before I go on, I just want to stress the fact that this is actually a Tom's brace from a SC430 or Toyota Sora, UZZ 40 Sora, so 40 series Sora. It has a longer neck, if you would say, so it should be able to clear this intake manifold on the GE. So let's see if it does. Let's see if we have any issues. There it is. Now the last thing we want to see that it clears is that it actually clears the hood. Got good clearance over the intake manifold. The next thing we want to make sure that we have clearance for is the hood. Now this bulky thing right here, it often touches the brace anyway, but I just want to make sure that it can close. This thing could always be removed. so we're all done here. All 4 corners are done, tightened, double checked, and matched to equal each other. Now keep in mind, it matches on the outside, but when you bolt them in the car, it might be a slight difference. One might be off by 1/4 of an inch, maybe even 1/2 of an inch. So sometimes you're gonna have to make adjustments while they're in the car. But remember, if you make adjustments while they're in the car and you're turning the entire body, you're gonna have to set the preload again. So that's one thing that I noticed. The preload does change when you adjust the height inside the car. So just keep those things in mind. Let's take this thing out on the road, see how it drives. Alright, so we're all done. That's the final product. Nice drop. Not as low as this one, but it's close, and hopefully everything feels good. So let's take it on a little test ride. Yeah, so I've been driving this thing around town, just looking for some uneven surfaces, bumps, see if I hear anything, any funny sounds or bangs, anything like that. This thing feels absolutely perfect. It feels better than my suspension, and that's mostly due to the Swift springs. So if you want my advice, if you're gonna opt for a set of Silvers Neomax Coilovers, get the Swift springs. If you're not like racing the car or on the track or anything, get the Swift springs. They're much better for the street, for daily purposes or weekend, whatever you want to do, but definitely better for the street. So Swift springs, Silvers Neomax Coilovers, you can't go wrong. Alright, so we reached the end of the video. We're all done. So just to sum it up, we installed a set of Silvers Neomax Coilovers with Swift springs and Tom's front strut tower brace to stiffen up the car, drop the car overall, just to make it really nice for the street, stiffer, and less roll on turns, etc. My opinion, the suspension feels damn near perfect with the Swift springs. On my car I also have a set of Silvers Neomax, but I don't have the Swift springs, and it's like a night and day difference. This feels more like a race car, and this just feels better for the street for every day, and I prefer that setup for my car, so I'm also going to buy a set of Swift springs. So alright, so if you have any questions, feedback, make sure you put it in the comments. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.